Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Andrea Riposati on the line, and he is CEO over at Dante Omics AI. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
All right, so this has been one of my favorite series to do in a long time. We cover a lot of conferences worldwide, and this is my first year attending FII Priority in Miami, and I'll tell you, I met so many great people. And Andrea, I don't think we crossed paths in Miami, but I'm glad to have you on. First, I'd just like to know, so you were in FII Priority as well in Miami. Like, what did you think of the conference, and was this one of your first ones, or have you been to some others?
So this was my second conference in Miami. My first FII Priority was last year. And then I also attended the one in Riyadh. And I think the conference just keep getting better and better. Of course, this year the president spoke, which was a big event. But beyond that, the quality of the attendees, the other speakers, the private conclave, the public arena, all the events were nice, including the social events, and I had a chance to meet a lot of other, inspiring entrepreneurs and investors. So I had a very good time.
Now, what are some of the reasons why you feel that this was like one of my goals here is I want to keep getting bigger. I want more high-level individuals to continue to be attracted to the conference. But what keeps you coming back, and why do you think others should attend?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So what I like about the FII Priority Summits, International Summits, is that they are really global events. So they do a very good job at bringing together people making the difference in different sectors and in different regions. So that even if it's a Saudi Arabia PIF sponsored event, they're really global events. And so you have a chance to see how, for instance, healthcare may be more advanced in one region, less advanced in another region, or space exploration has two completely different approaches, let's say in Europe and the United States. So you really get an opportunity to see leaders, tech leaders, financial leaders, innovators from different regions, from different countries in the same space in 2 days. And you get a lot of interesting ideas. So I really like that.
And now at this particular conference, I believe you, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I believe you hosted a panel or you were leading a panel, is that right?
I did. I was co-chairing one of the conclaves on longevity together with the McKinsey Health Institute. And it was super cool. And again, we had attendees from academia, from non-profit organizations, from governments, from private sector, public sector. And we discussed ideas and initiatives that can make an impact. So it was both high level, but then it quickly became very practical and very pragmatic. And so now we have also some follow-up steps to do. I really look forward to see the impact of the initiatives that we are launching in the next summit and then in the summit in Riyadh in November.
What are some of the takeaways that you found interesting from it could be from the panel, it could be also just from your attendance and your work. Like, what did you find interesting specifically relating to AI and longevity? Like, what were you following?
So something that I found very interesting is how, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there were a lot of discussions about how some African countries had kept desktop-based internet and they had moved to mobile internet applications. And so you had cases like mobile banking apps being more popular and having a broader penetration, let's say in Nigeria versus Europe. And if you went back 15 years ago, Europe had, of course, a much bigger penetration of desktop-based internet applications in banking and other applications. And so the same is happening in longevity, where, there are some countries that started longevity movements years ago, like, Switzerland has always been a key leading country for longevity clinics. But now with the new technologies, with AI, with multi-omics, you have other countries taking the lead, especially in the private sector, including the UAE, Saudi Arabia, but also the United States, and some countries in Eastern Europe like Estonia that are really pushing the envelope on the use of longevity and AI. So this is super interesting for me because you can get different ideas and you can get real inspiration to improve healthcare and longevity for people just by looking what other countries are doing, what other people are doing. And what's really true is also that with all the data that is being generated right now from multiomics to sequencing to medical records and the real advances in the LLM models with generative AI, you start seeing real, life-changing approaches. I think now if you look at a few years ago, a lot of longevity applications were unfortunately ended up being very generalistic advice, like, run in the morning, eat fruit, don't eat red meat, which of course, that you don't need like a longevity company to tell you that. But now we're really going to very personalized, practical, action-oriented, actionable applications so that everyone can get personalized approach to longevity to really, in the end, improve the quality of life, improve healthcare, and then live longer.
It makes a lot of sense, and I know, of course, the FII, the summit, it's aimed towards Saudi Arabia, and it's talking, and that's why the next conference in Riyadh. I'm curious about what you've seen in Saudi Arabia, or even with the Saudi people, like in general, like what you're seeing in the longevity space and AI, and like how that kind of all fits. Like what kind of advances you're seeing there, what kind of adoption, or just in general, how does all that fit?
Yeah, no, I think very interesting adoption and applications have been. So there are longevity clinics all over the world. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, some of these clinics are still very expensive. Mm-hmm. And part of the price you pay is not just because you get access to great technology. Yeah. It's also because these clinics are in the end luxury hotels or luxury med spas. Mm-hmm. Which, unfortunately, then the implication is that you end up paying a lot more than you should be paying, especially for someone in the middle class. So what I've seen now, for instance, in Saudi Arabia, there is a new generation of longevity clinics that are for the middle class, so not just for millionaires or multimillionaires, but also for the working people. And that's great because then it's really about making longevity more accessible and making more affordable, and it's also easier to understand. And this is great. So it's not just for the top luxury market, but it's also really becoming more of a mass market application.
Where do you see some of the opportunity? You're obviously following the space very closely, and this is your business. Where do you see some of the opportunity in going forward in the longevity space?
I see a lot of the opportunities really in taking technologies that are used in healthcare and in nutrition and really positioning them with a clear goal of enabling longevity to people. And where by enabling, I mean enabling longevity, for me, the definition of longevity is a longer and healthier life. That's it, simple like that, which means really having then personalized prevention based on multiomics analysis, so your genome, your epigenetics, your RNA, your proteomics, and then also means having nutrition plan and having probiotics or vitamins on anything that you need to integrate your body functions, really personalized based on constant measurement of your body metrics using today's technology. So if you think about it, most of us, we take some blood tests at the hospital, and that's it, right? That's most what we do in terms of prevention. And so we're really using technologies from 20 or 30 years ago. So we're not sequencing our genome. We are not sequencing our proteome. We are not doing any epigenetics analysis. But we can we can really get all this multiomics data, and then we can integrate it with lifestyle, but also with more personalized prevention so that we know exactly what type of diseases we should be careful about, what types of risks we should be careful about, and also how to integrate our diet and our daily life in terms of nutrients, in terms of vitamins that we may need more, or that our body may metabolize faster or slower.
Andrea, I want to spend just a moment or two with some of the time we have left here and give us a little bit of an overview and tell us a little bit more about your company, Dante Omics AI.
Thank you. I appreciate your question. So we started the company 7 years ago to really enhance the clinical utility of the genome and make it more affordable and accessible to people. And then from the genome, we also expand into multiomics. So our core, I would say, flagship product is the Dante genome, which is the sequencing of your whole genome, plus personalized interpretation based on your clinical and medical history with reports that are updated automatically with the most advanced and the most recent scientific discoveries. And then on top of that, we have also multi-omics tests like proteomics, epigenetics to get, for instance, to measure the age of your immune system or your biological organs. And so what we do, we really use AI to enhance the utility of omics and the raw data that you can get from your genome, from your epigenetics, from your proteomics, and then to provide institutions, individuals, and patients and doctors with more advanced reports.
What are normally the right types of companies or organizations that are a good fit to work with you and your team? Like, how does somebody know if they're a good fit?
So I would say good fits are really like specialty clinics, research clinics, biotech companies, also pharma companies. We're working on, with some of the largest pharma companies worldwide on very interesting projects, but also university researchers and researchers in agrigenomics, and then of course in healthcare.
Fantastic. Final question, Andrea. How do people follow up? How do they learn more if they want to connect with you and your team?
So they can come to our website, danteomics.com, and then, they can fill a form, and, we have contact forms, of course, and then they can follow up with us. Then they can also contact us on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and we're always happy to connect with new people.
Fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put the links in the show notes, so you can just click on the link and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing out new content, new interviews, and hopefully new ideas to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Andrea, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adam. It was great to be with you today.